Before this video starts, I just want to say this is constructive criticism. This isn't a dig on Riot or the 2XKO dev team. I want this game to be great. I play this game. It's a fun game. I think it's good. I want more people to play it. So I just want to give criticism where it's needed, I think, to give my opinion. And I also have my friend Procy here to give his opinion. He is a League expert. I would say has the most hours in League of anyone I know and plays it at a high level. And I'm sure that he's the target audience for this game. So I wanted him to give his opinion on things that we're going to talk about. So I wanted to say when the video starts, but let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, why I think this game is having issues, is the actual release of the game for console. And what I mean by that is the console release seems like they didn't really test it. It comes out, has these tournaments go. Frosty Fostings was a big tournament for it. A lot of people watched, but the screen tearing for PlayStation and Xbox seemed to be unbearable from what I've heard and what I've seen, which I think is kind of insane for a release. If you're going to finally release the game for everyone instead of just PC, it needs to come out smooth. Oh, and even the multiplayer playing online against each other was having issues. They had to turn off ranked mode when the game released for everyone because the lobbies were buggy, it was crashing, people couldn't get games. So I think that was a big problem on release, making people not want to play the game, and they probably would never come back. Some people do that. But yeah, Procy, say what's up to them. I want you to give your opinion first on how the release went for this game.
Yeah, hey. I think, in my opinion, realistically, like, come on guys, we're a $1 billion company. I feel like if the release for the game is going to be, as far as I've been told, like this is my first time hearing about it. If it's going to be like essentially unplayable to like a large portion of the audience, we're a $1 billion company. We could have done more playtesting to see that this just wouldn't be a thing. Like, I don't know if there were like time constraints on release for the console release of the game, but I think that we definitely could have had like at least some amount of extra playtesting to, like, for screen tearing, that's like one of the fastest things that you could figure out, and you just play the game on a couple of different console builds and you'll see that happen in like half an hour, right? Like we could have known this.
I don't know, it seemed like it was a big problem for them because I don't know if it still has that issue, but I know there's a big problem and I know that they were talking about fixing it. But to have like finally your game be on the big stage of the big, like one of the biggest tournaments in the beginning of the year, and then that's the thing people see now that people are playing on console and stuff, is just a bunch of screen tearing.
Yeah, it'll definitely turn around. It'll turn away a lot of people to just like, maybe a bunch of people are excited for it. They look at it, see, oh, it looks like it's a beta test of a game that isn't working properly. Well, I'll put it down and I'll leave it for another 12 months and I'll check it again, right? Like I think that's the opinion that like a casual player, which seems to be the target audience of 2XKO, right?
Yeah, that's the first issue. But for me, the big issue, I think, and a lot of people were even saying this before the game even released for everyone. This is like during the alpha labs and stuff that I was playing it and stuff and was involved in. Having the name 2XKO. The name has nothing to do with League of Legends. People that play League wouldn't even know that unless they did the research. And people that play fighting games hear that name and just go, huh? What is this? They should have had, before they had the name Project L, I think that was already a good name.
Yeah, I actually think that Project L was a better name.
Yeah, a lot of people did. When they first announced that it was going to be called 2XKO and they changed the name, people were like, what? Why? Why did you change the name to that? What does that even mean? Like, what? Everyone was just confused. Like, people were saying, what about League of Fighters or Fighters of League or like Project L something? Why is it like, a reference to League of Legends?
I think that it, like, to my own personal breakdown would it just be like, what? It's like 2X fighters, right? Like, because it's a tag fighter game. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of. There is absolutely zero thing that comes to my mind. If you put this title to me and said, what game is it? I would never say that it was League of Legends. Never.
Exactly.
I wouldn't know it was an affiliate game of it at all.
Like, I get the name 2XKO, because it's a tag fighter, 2 times knockout is two characters.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have the IP of League, you have to use the name, like League of Fighters. I think would work, or Fighters of League.
Game, yeah, for a fighting game, the name makes some amount of sense. I think it looks a bit gaudy to me, but it makes some amount of sense. But it holds absolutely nothing to me for a right IP. Like, I wouldn't know.
And that's coming from someone who plays League a lot, so it's not a good thing.
A hell of a lot.
That is not a good thing. And that goes to my next point of the name, because a lot of League players don't know that this is a League fighting game. They did the marketing when this game dropped for like release for everything, not just PC, Alpha Labs, and let everybody in. When that post came out saying that Riot like let go half the staff on the 2XKO dev team, there were so many people in the comments of X saying, "There's a League fighting game? This is a thing? I've never heard of this before. Where did this come from? This is a game? Like, when did this come out?" That is a huge problem if so many people didn't even know that there was a League of Legends fighting game. With the IP of League being so big, where was the marketing for everybody? Like, was there even marketing inside of League about this game?
So, a bit yes and no, right? So, realistically, if you play League of Legends, it depends on how much of it you actually play. I would say that like people that have come out, like done the 9 to 5s, they come on, they have a couple of games after work, like on a weekend or whatever. The boys decided to call up. We're playing some ARAMs for a couple of hours in the afternoon, right? Those people probably wouldn't be aware of it, but for like a good majority of the player base for League, will actually be aware that they were designing a fighting game. So the bigger problem that you have is that we were aware of a fighting game being in the works because it got announced at the same time that Valorant did. Like, we had 3 projects and we were all like, oh yeah, an MMO, a fighting game, and a tactical shooter. But as far as like after that, like in the Riot client itself, like for League of Legends, the only real like advertisement that you had for this game were they had a couple of like skin releases that alluded to like fighting games in the Riot, like in the whole Riot IP, and they were called the Soul Fighters, like the Soul Fighters skin line. And then outside of that, like when that event happened, like you had the Soul Fighter event, you had the TFT Soul Fighter event, and then there was nothing. They didn't tell us that the game was released or anything like that. It didn't exist. So like unless you go on by PC, you open up League of Legends through the Riot client, which is how I assume the same way that you open up 2XKO.
Yeah, it's the same.
Without seeing that it says that like you have these 4 different games that you can play, and you just don't look at it because you immediately just press play game and open up League, you wouldn't know that there is a fighting game. You wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, besides like the little logo on the side, like how they do for each game in the client.
Yeah, but like, would you look over and go like? It like we've already talked about the name as well, right? You just see some random letters in the like on the side of your screen and go, oh, that's weird, and then carry on.
2XKO, what is that?
Yeah, like, but imagine if it just said like League Fighters or something like that, or because like in that same section, which is really silly, it's TFT as well. So it's actually overshadowed by like by a game that's inside League already anyway.
Yeah. There's no reason to go look. Like, I know on X they were advertising it. I've seen trailers and stuff on X and stuff. And obviously I'm gonna see it because I play fighting games, like play all type of fighting games, so it's gonna pop up on my feed. But they should have, like, I don't know, got some more marketing around.
Yeah, as far as my algorithm goes, the only thing about 2XKOs that I've seen, there's 2 separate times that I've seen anything on my algo from from 2XKO. The first one being that the memes of like the first, like one of the first championships they had was that like almost every single team was just Yasuo Echo, like every single one in top tournaments. So you had like you had top 12s, and like there were 11 Yasuo Echo teams, and then like the other one was someone and Echo in a top 12, like in every single tournament. And then the other one was that, you know, obviously they laid off like a bunch of the staff, like a couple months into the game's release.
Yeah, the fact that post about the layoffs is like what blew up. So that's what most people see about this game, or that's the first thing that they've seen actually about this game, which is a problem.
Yeah, that's your exposure to a Riot title, is because I can see that genuinely being like the first time a lot of people have seen it, is that Riot Games decided to lay off a bunch of its employees for a relatively new game,
which is not a good look. People aren't going to do the research. They're just going to see that and go, "Oh, that game's dying. I'm not going to go play it." But really,
yeah,
they went down to 80 developers, which is still a lot of people for a fighting game. But
yeah, that's a lot of people for a fighting game. Like, in fact, I am not even sure how many developers are on the like Riot balance team for League of Legends. I couldn't tell you, but like I bet it's not actually as like that many people.
Yeah, so I don't think the game's dying, because to still have 80 people working on the game is a lot.
Yeah.
But from
like,
reading that post,
it doesn't need so many people, but at the same time, it just feels bad because you look at it and go, "Why lay off people?"
Yeah,
like, it's
that's
a
the
new
problem.
Game.
Everyone seeing that post, and it blew up everywhere because all the news outlets reporting it and stuff. Like, they just go, "Oh, they had a fighting game? Well, if they're laying off people, that means that game's probably gonna die. I'm not gonna play that." Like, that's a bad look.
Yeah, for sure.
The next thing I wanted to talk about was the character roster on release. Now, for those who don't know, this game is a tag fighter for the most part. You can play as one character on these two fuses called Sidekick and Juggernaut, which lets you just play as one character, and then you can have an assist on a Sidekick. You can have assist that comes out, but you still only play one character. But for the most part, most people play this 2v2 because it's better, 2 health bars and whatnot. But having a roster this small is a huge problem for a tag fighter. If you're gonna have a tag fighter, you gotta have like 20 characters, 15 characters, something around there at least, because there's not many options for people to play. And then in the beginning, before it was released on console, we always saw the same teams because those characters are so strong, but also there wasn't a lot of variety because there's already not that many amount of characters in the game.
Like, it absolutely needs to have more excuse me, it absolutely needs to have a lot more variety for the game itself. Like, what was the last tag game that you played, and how, like, realistically, how many characters did it have? Like, the last game I ever remember playing of a tag fighter was like Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that, and like there's always like 30 plus characters in every single one of them, because it just makes sense. Like, you want to find your playstyle, you want to like work it out, figure out which 2 characters that you really like gel with. But like when you don't have that, there's like, because of the sheer lack of variety, like I said with Echo Yasuo, I assume that they just synergized way better than every other character in the game together, and were just themselves strong characters, which, if you don't have the variety to like counter meta, let's say, then why would you play anything else? It's self-fulfilling. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy as far as character roster goes.
I just looked it up. Dragon Ball FighterZ was the last big tag fighter that was super popular. It was a 3v3, had 24 characters on release, and that was considered small. Like, people were considered that small back then, but now you see this.
I would assume that is small, especially for a 3v3 fighter game. But that's on release. There were that many.
Yeah, we're getting even less than that. Like, I know that they're gonna try to pump out characters fast, but it's still you should have more characters at launch. And then on top of that, being a League IP, League players are gonna come. League having what, over 100 characters in the roster?
Oh yeah, like easily more than that.
Yeah. People are gonna want to see their League character in this game so they can come play this fighting game. When you only launch with these characters, there's so many people missing out. Like other like mainstay characters in the League IP, they're just missing out, and they're waiting on their character to be released. Like they're just hoping that the character gets added.
We're heading towards 200 champions in League of Legends. We got like 170-ish, I want to say. But yeah, like I was actually relatively excited for 2xKO, right? Because one of my favorite characters in League of Legends, his name's Udyr, was described by the dev team, right, as like the most clear-cut example of a fighting game character in the game, and they didn't put him in this game
as base roster.
Yeah,
that's the
like Udyr, the stance-changing fighting champion, is not in the fighting game.
Is that the
that is like what
guy?
They said. No, that's Lee Sin. He's it makes sense for him to be in this game as well. Like, he just his design, like his design space, very much fits a fighting game. But what I'm like, he's the
I just looked him up.
He's like a
big.
Yeah, big guy. He has the spirit elements in him, like very shaman-y type guy. But like the development team said, like genuinely, word for word, Udyr is the like quintessential closest thing that we can get to putting a fighting game character into League of Legends. And they didn't put him in a fighting game under their own IP.
Yeah, that was a problem, I think, with the rosters, because Arcane was so successful, and I know they're trying to get like casual people to come into the game. But I don't think people that watch Arcane for the most part would like even care about a fighting game, in my opinion. But they added all these Arcane characters first, and of course they had Ari because she's like beloved. Same with
she's
Jinx.
very iconic. Yeah, Jinx was very iconic even before.
I remember.
As far as the right IP goes,
that was even a thing. Like I already knew who she was, and I didn't even play League.
One of my favorite periods of time for the entire Riot IP was the release of the Jinx music video back in like, I want to say like 2013, 2014.
So she's right on that rocket.
That really exactly. Yeah, it really kickstarted the amount of people that just like fell in love with the IP itself. So like, of course, I would put Jinx in there, even if she wasn't in Arcane. I would put Jinx in there because she's so beloved by a huge portion of the community. But like, when we look at the rest of it, I go, we have like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 Arcane characters in here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters that aren't from Arcane. Like it's almost 50-50 for Arcane characters. And from a League perspective, if we go for iconic characters in League of Legends, there's at least like 4 champions on here that I would go, that character is not iconic to League of Legends. Like Blitzcrank, Braum, Alawi, like the characters that people are aware of, but like they're not particularly like in the spotlight as far as like an average League player. When you think of League of Legends, you don't immediately go, yes, I think League, I go Blitzcrank. That's not one of them. So, I mean, I think it makes sense as to why he's in this game. I assume that Blitzcrank is like a grappler. Yeah, maybe he's not.
He's the grappler in the game.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? But yeah, I think the roster for a League player could probably do with a bit of work to add stuff that people would want to play because they like that character. Because of just like the emotion and feel that the IP gives to them. Like,
yeah,
add Zed, right? Add Zed. People love that guy. Like, I'm surprised that this game doesn't have more Ionians in it because people love the Ionians, all of them.
Yeah, I think that's a big issue. I get adding the arcane characters, but the other half of the roster should be all like popular characters from the League to get the League people to come over as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I understand archetypes, but I'm
agree.
sure a lot of those popular characters in League can be still like a grab character archetype or a zoner or.
Yeah, you could throw
big
Pike
body.
in there, right? Pike isn't super in the spotlight as far as a character that I would say is in the forefront of the IP, but people like Pike. People think that he's really cool, and like that's just an example of a character that you could probably put in there as just kind of a replacement to Blitzcrank.
I mean, they're
Like, just for variety purposes, anyway.
they're gonna add a Kali, which is a big name.
Yeah.
Which I think she should have been in the base roster. We don't have a ninja character. I feel like every fighting game has a ninja character.
Yeah.
And
Because but of course they would add my opinion of it is, of course they would add a Curly because they would add a Curly over Zed. I think Zed is just a completely cooler champion, like completely. But a Curly is in the music videos, so
yeah, more skins. You know that.
yeah,
You gotta have the KDA Akali skin.
exactly.
And then it'll drop for Ari too because she's already in the game. It's a bundle, right?
Yeah. And then Yasuo's in the music videos as well. So is Echo with the true damage.
Oh yeah, true damage. Yep, see? They already got they got it planned. I know.
It's really funny because there's 3 characters on here that I'm like, it makes no sense as far as like a bunch of, even if it's not just out of League where the other IP comes in, like, and it's Eloy, Teemo, and Braum. Sorry, and Blitzcrank. Like, those 4 champions are just like, they're just characters in League. Whereas like everything else is like, it's in Arcane, it's in like a bunch of other stuff. Even Darius is in almost like so many, like absolutely so many of the like the game trailers.
The cinematics, right?
Yeah, the cinematics. He's in loads of them, and he's probably also going to be in Arcane Season 2, right? Like, but what about the other guy? Like, they're just there. Like, I don't get it.
Luckily, next people are getting Akali and Senna, which Senna's out of left field, but she looks cool the way her combat works in the video I've seen. Like her using her big gun, and she has like a stance change that makes her I guess she has some, because I don't play League like that, she has some like astral form or something.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
She,
as far as the law goes,
that
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Do you say who do you say who in Senna?
Akali, just Akali and Senna.
Yeah. I hope that if they're adding Senna, that they add Lucian just like as a thing. Like, I don't want them separated again. You know, law reasons and all that.
Reason. We'll see. I don't know who they would add next. But yeah, just of it, the roster I think should have been bigger, and they needed more like big names. I think it would have been a lot better to help more League players come over. So I'm sure that's the main thing they wanted to do with this game.
Yeah, I would assume that would be the goal, right? But the fact from the couple of points that we've had already, the name is just something that not a lot of people recognize. The roster isn't big enough or like appealing to enough people, and there was no advertisement for it in the League, like realistically at all. Like like you said in the Twitter post, if people just don't know it exists, they're not going to play it.
Yeah, I think that was just a big fallout. Is not showing. They should have like at least like a little pop up in League about this game.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Or like a collab.
There's a huge pop up. Like, I remember Valorant coming out. I remember that they talked about a lot of random stuff in Valorant. I remember TFT being released, and now TFT is like built into the League client. Where is anything for this game? Like it's as though they don't want it to be successful in the same way that. Do you remember Legends of Runeterra?
Yeah, I played a little bit of that.
The card game that they made. Yeah, like there was nothing about that as well. And Legends of the Runeterra is essentially like dead because the rest of the Riot IP just didn't support it at all.
Yeah, it's just a weird situation for them not to advertise a League fighting game. Like that's a big deal. And all those characters and the like variety of things you could have in a fighting game off of these weird characters in League.
Yeah. And there's so many unique characters in League as well that you could put in, where I assume that like if you brought it to a fighting game, there could be you could have some really cool designs, spaces for characters.
Exactly. That's what
like
people are excited about.
Maybe even a bunch of stuff that is like really unique to fighting games in general. Like that would be a big draw to me.
That's what people are excited about, is to see their character in the game that like is, and make them very different than normal in fighting games. Like Timu is really different. He's super small.
Yeah.
He has these meters he can build where he's putting down mushrooms or putting his has poison shrooms and stuff. Like he has all these setups and stuff like that you wouldn't expect for him to work in a fighting game, but it does.
Yeah, he gives off Faust from Guilty Gear, right?
Yeah, just not as random.
That's what, yeah, not as random, and he's just small.
All right, outside of the character roster, one of the last things we're gonna talk about is monetization in this game. Now it's a free-to-play game, so anybody interested in, or we're talking about all this stuff, it's free. You can just go try it, free to play. But when it comes to the currency and the monetization, I think a lot of things are scummy in this game. So for those that don't know, in most fighting games, you can go click on a character, like I can go click on Jinx, and if I see a skin that I want in their skin options, I can just pay money to get that specific skin. In any other fighting game, you can just pay for the skin. But what Riot does, because they do this in their other games, you have to go to the store and hope that one of those skins you saw are in the rotating shop. Now for those people that play like other games like Call of Duty, Valorant, Rivals, stuff like that, you know rotating shops. This is a normal thing. Even in like Fortnite, this is a normal thing. But in a fighting game, this is a huge problem because one, the character roster is already small in this game. And in fighting games, rotating shop is not good because if you only play 2 characters and you don't care about any of the other characters, it's going to be so hard to see the skins you want in this rotating shop. Rotating shop should only be for games that you don't have specific character things, because every character doesn't play the same. It's a fighting game. If I want a specific Jinx skin, I shouldn't have to hope that it's in this shop every week. Like that is a huge problem for trying to get a character. Like I know, like you said in League, you told me before, this makes sense because there's a crap ton of characters in League, but you can still go buy skins specifically for a character. Yeah,
there's only ever like a couple of characters in League that ever have a skin that comes out and then you can't buy it in the future. Like as a like a limited time thing. Like this is ripped straight from Valorant, but like it makes way more sense in Valorant because like all you're doing is buying skins for guns, right?
Yes.
Like in every single game that you play of Valorant, you could legitimately say, yes, I'm going to buy what, like I can't remember what the equivalent is of the like the main weapon, right? Like I'm going to buy the AK-47 skin, right? Because there's only like 12 guns in the game, and like as far as it goes, you will always buy this gun in a game. So yeah, it makes sense for you to buy a skin for that gun because you will see that gun in every game. Whereas for this, it makes no sense to me whatsoever because you're just going to ignore this page if it just doesn't have your character on it. Because you'll never see it. Like you will never see it. It just doesn't make any sense.
The rotating shop should never be a thing for fighting game. That's why I don't think ever is a thing for fighting game. Unless it's a limited time skin. Like you said, like all fighting games have that, like, oh, this skin's only going to be out for like this month, buy it now. That makes sense, but In a game where you only play as specific characters, you can't have a rotating shop.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make sense. They would actually
make more money if they just had a skin you could just purchase on its own for your character. Like, I should just be able to go click on Ari and pay $20 for a bundle for one of these skins. Like, it just should be a thing.
Yeah, because it's obviously trying to play into FOMO, right? Like the fear of missing out. But like the biggest problem is like you're not missing out. You just don't have like the availability for something that you do want to have, right? Like you're not missing out right now, right? If you go to the store page, right, and you go, oh, that's a Jinx skin, you're not missing out. You have no FOMO. You're not playing Jinx. You don't care, right?
Yeah, but so it's just not effective.
Let's say for Valorant, there's like a skin for a gun, right, that you don't have a skin for yet, right? Like, let's take that as a bare minimum example. There's actually a real world chance where you'll go, you know what? I do buy that one gun in like maybe 1 in 10 games. Maybe I'll buy it because you always have access to use that skin in the game. But you're like, if you don't like if you just decide I'm never going to buy that gun, which would be incorrect in that game because there's always an opportunity to buy specific things because it's just helpful. This game has the problem of, if I just don't play Jinx, why would I ever buy a Jinx skin? So why is it in a rotating shop? Because it's just a nothing burger to me. Yeah, the closest thing that we have to that in League, outside of, you know, like having the temporary skin every now and again that like you can't buy in the future, is we have a Your Shop, right? But the way that works is every couple of months, it'll basically look at your match history, right? It'll see how many, like what characters you played, like what your most recent characters that you've played, like how much you've played them. And then it'll give you a variety of skins for those champions based on you played them. We know that you've played them. So here's like a bunch of skins that you can buy on sale. And that's like the closest thing to it. But that makes way more sense.
Yeah, makes way more sense because it's the characters you play.
Because you play them.
It knows that you play them, so here's skins for the characters you play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the rotating shop should be. It should be for skins for characters you play, not for just random skins like, that are in here.
And I don't know how I would feel about that, if I would feel like it's a bit more or less scummy, right? Like it's a weird feeling because it's very clear that they're like, hey, here's some skins that we know for characters that you play. Maybe you can buy them, or if it's like makes more sense to do because the current rotating shop isn't targeted towards getting you things that you want. Like, you know that you want them because you play that character.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like we said, it's a free-to-play game. You may as well offer people the option to get the things that they want for money.
Yeah, if they want money for you.
Yeah, I don't have to buy it. Like, I could go to this shop, right? Take a look, go, yeah, I don't want to spend money, and close the shop and just play a game. But if I were to go into this store, I would assume that the reason that I'm going into the 2xKO store is because I'm wondering if there's anything that I like in here. I'm feeling like I want to spend money to support the game and the developers to carry on having the game that I like to play. And then you scroll down and it says, yeah, there's skins, but you don't play any of these characters, go away.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, man, I wanted to give you guys some money, but I guess not.
Yeah, I guess not now. You know,
no money for you guys. I guess maybe next time. Yeah, I think that this just needs to go.
But what happens when a skin comes out for a character that you do want to play, but you only get 6 days to do it in? And that feels worse to me. That feels way worse to me. Like, I'm way less likely to pay for something when I know that they're trying to dangle it in front of me, saying, "Oh, you're never gonna get it if you don't get it now," you know.
Which is just counterintuitive, like, especially for fighting games. Just let people buy the things that they want to buy, because they will. When it comes to fighting game community, if they like a game, they will support it by buying stuff.
Yes.
Even if they don't use it. But on top of that, if it's for a character they play, they will buy all the skins. They will buy every skin possible. If it's new.
For sure. Like,
so give
the
them the
fighting
option
game
to buy
community
it.
is one of the coolest. Like, I love the people in the fighting game community. I absolutely adore them, because they want their games to do well. They want to be able to keep playing fighting games because they love fighting games. And they're like, I think every single fighting game player knows, we kind of all need to support the game that we play, or we won't get more fighting games.
Yeah, because they're not as big as all the other type of games, shooters and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But like, the fighting game community is so dedicated to the games that they play that, like, I think having a system like this set up, it feels disrespectful in a way. Like, you guys as fighting game players don't need to be subjected to, hey, here's some FOMO, buy this skin, right? Like, you'll be like, I like, if I know you, Red, you would go, that's my character. I want to play that character, and that character will have all the skins bought for them.
Yep.
Like, I like it but like, they're not giving you the option to, if they just lock skins behind random, like, bullshit, I want to say.
Yeah, for example, there was an arcade bundle that had this Blitzcrank in it. There's arcade
Which is
Vi
pretty cool.
and an arcade Ari. Now, because it's not in the shop anymore, the big bundle, you can buy them separately, but you have to hope it's in the rotating shop now. What if I just want the Ari? I could just buy the Ari right now. Like, why wouldn't I could just literally give you guys the money, but you won't let me give you guys the money.
Yeah.
You're literally not giving me the option to pay you.
It's really dumb. It's really dumb. It's a age-old argument of, like, is it better, like, as a Riot Games thing, right? Is it better to give people all the options, or is it better to be predatory for profit margins?
But yeah, but the problem with the...
Because that's what Valorant does. Like, it's kind of what League has done. It's clearly what 2xKO is doing. Like, having a rotating shop is predatory. It is. It's bad because it's trying to make you feel like you won't get another chance to get this thing that you want unless you buy it within this time. Otherwise, you probably won't see it again. If it's there, yeah.
I get it for Valorant and other Riot games because, like, how it's for guns and stuff, but in a fighting game, I just think it's unacceptable because it's character specific. It's not gonna be for everyone. Like, you can just load up Fortnite and have a skin that's like comes out of the shop because, like, they have collabs and stuff that's only there for a couple weeks. But that skin is just on a character that you just play. It's not just a specific character.
Yeah, and it's just disrespectful to the fighting game community, in my opinion. I'll let them get away with it with Valorant and League because, like, MOBAs are a massive genre. Like, the shooting games are a massive genre, right? It doesn't really make that much of a difference. Oh, I can't get my 12th gun skin for the same gun. Like, most people will buy one and they're happy with that, and then that's it. We're done and dusted. I'm not paying for another one. But, like, fighting game players just kind of don't deserve that treatment. As well as, like, they're like, a lot of people are really just happy to buy and customize their favorite character or characters in tag fighters.
Having a character that people like is very important because they will spend money on that character.
Yep.
And that ties back to the
spend your time. Yeah, you spend your time, right? Getting, like, it's weird. It feels a little sentimental, right? Like, you've spent your time labbing, playing, fighting as this character so much. Like, you see this character so much, so often, all the time. This is your go-to, but I'm sorry, you can't buy the skin for them because it came out like 3 weeks ago and you missed the deadline. So now you have to wait for it to show up in a rotating shop.
Yeah, you just have to hope. Keep coming to check the game every week.
Yeah, you have to come check the game, or else you can't. Like maybe you don't get your character. I don't like it. I don't like it personally.
The last thing on the monetization is these mega bundles. In a fighting game, if you have a bundle, you bundle stuff together because it's going to be cheaper to get it. But if you want one specific skin, you still are usually able to get that skin. Now, what's even more scummy about this bundle is this supports tournaments. They've even said that that's what this is advertised as, is to support tournaments. But the problem with, like we said earlier, having specific characters and not just being gun skins or one character that's able to do everything and just every skin works on it. If I only play Echo, I should just be able to get this Echo skin, pay $20 and call it a day. If I only play Ari, I should only just be able to buy this Ari skin. I shouldn't have to pay $50. That's how much this bundle is, guys. $50 for this whole bundle with these colors and these 2 skins. Mind you, 2 skins, $50. You're paying for colors, guys, which is normally not a thing in fighting games. You don't pay for colors. They add this little finisher animation, which has always been cool about this game, is that other fighting games don't really have finisher animations like this, but it's still $50 is insane. And I should just be able to buy the skin for a specific character. Like, I shouldn't have to force myself to buy other skins.
Yeah, for sure. And like at the same time, you know what it says to me? It says you can support our game, but like there's a minimum amount that you're allowed to support the game.
Yeah, like that should never be a thing.
Yeah, that's insane. Like I don't want to spend $50 on that.
I'm paying a price basically for a game.
I like Echo, and I only want the Echo skin. I don't want the chromas. I don't want the icon. I don't care about like the frame perfect, like the frame perfect KO finisher. I don't care about any of it. I just want the skin, right? Why can't I just buy that to support the game and also get the thing that I want out of it?
Exactly.
Like the thing that's most important to me in this bundle.
They do it for some bundles, but not all, which is so weird. Like this bundle, I would expect them to do it because, oh, I'm supporting a tournament. Yeah, I'll drop $20 for a character. Hey, I'll drop another 10 for these colors. I'll, something. Yeah. But
yeah, for sure.
Hiding it only behind that bundle when there's bundles like this where I can just pay $20 for this Darius thing. Why can't I do that for the Echo one or the Ari one? I can pay $20 for this.
It does not make sense. It does not make any sense to me, right? Like, you can individually buy things for this bundle, right? You can buy the individual pieces of it all, but to support your community, there's a minimum buy-in.
Yeah. You want to help people, pay $50. Sorry.
Yeah, like you want tournaments to be accessible for people. You want these tournaments to exist. Pay $50 or you can't have anything. Like what? What do you mean?
Yeah, other fighting games that do this, they always do this. Like, hey, buy this bundle to support the Capcom Cup for like Street Fighter, for example, or like Mortal Kombat will do this. Like a lot of fighting games.
I assume that they wouldn't be. I assume that it wouldn't be like, yeah, you can get this bundle, but like, it's for, here's like the entire roster's worth of characters with skins, and it costs you $200, right? Like, I assume that it'll just be you get this bundle, but it's this character with skins and different, like a couple of different things. I would assume
it's usually $20. Street Fighter, it'll be like a skin for, say, example, I think before they did like one for Ryu and one for Chun-Li, and you buy the bundle. It's like $20-$30.
And it's the individual characters. It isn't just a clump of random stuff.
Call of Duty does this too, like to support the army. They have a bundle that's like, I think it's $20.
Yeah.
Where you get a skin for your gun, you get a skin for the character, stuff like that. But it's like, it's $20. That's the difference. What I'm saying. This is a big bundle. Yeah, I get it, $50, but let me pay a smaller amount. It could be an option to get stuff in here.
Yeah, because if the proceeds are going towards like funding for tournaments anyway, why does it matter that you have to buy the entire bundle? Surely, like, there's going to be vastly more people that are willing to buy parts of a bundle than it is to be like, well, you can only support it if you buy the entire thing, right? Like, am I crazy? Like, maybe I am. But if you make things more accessible to people with even like lower financial incomes or like even towards that end, like if you have 1,000 more people that are willing to just buy the Echo skin but wouldn't buy the entire thing, because $50 is a lot of money for cosmetic, really.
Yeah, I think
especially
honestly,
if I'm only going to use one character.
Yeah, they would make more, literally, in my opinion, giving the option to just buy one part of the bundle. Because since it's character specific, if I only play Echo, and Echo is like one of the top played characters right now, so many people would drop $20 and they would make more money than I think people would be saying, nah, I'm not going to buy this bundle and not pay $50. Like, I think they'll get a better profit.
Let's play a little bit of devil's advocate here. So like, let's say that I'm a new player and I join this game and I'm kind of enjoying it. I see this bundle. I go, that's really cool. It supports another thing. Oh, Ari Echo. I could play both Ari and Echo in a team together with the skin set. And like, I guess like maybe that's the idea that they're going for. It's like you'll see this bundle and go, oh yeah, I should play those two champions together because it's a tag fighter. But like the funny part is that I assume that Ari Echo is just not a good combination compared to other characters.
Luckily,
so it's like
they
relatively
are good.
Oh, they are good. Okay, I was gonna say it feels a little bit disingenuous towards like making the players feel like they have agency over choice in their own like character select screen, right? At least that's what it feels like. It might be like it feels a little weird to me. But it could potentially be a draw for new players to look at it and go, as a tag fighter, of course I want two champions with matching skins.
Yeah, I can get the appeal of that.
But you could just buy them individually. It doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because it's just, since this is a fighting game, people are going to play who they like. And if you see... You can like people can look at both of these characters and say, I don't play both these characters, so I'm not buying this bundle. And they're just losing out on $50 just like that. But same with the person that says I only play Ari or I only play Echo. They're not gonna buy the bundle because they're like $50 for one skin.
Yeah, it's $50 for one skin. Well, I'd pay $25 for everything that's Ari related on here. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. I'd pay $25 for everything that's Ari related on here, but I'm not paying $25 more to get Echo. And I don't want to play Echo ever. That's a real core problem of the bundle.
Yeah, like a League player could come in and go, I love Ari. I always play Ari on League. Oh, that Ari skin is sick. And they go in here and they go, I can't just buy the skin.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? I have to buy the Echo skin as well? I don't want to. And then they close the shop. I'm never gonna
touch that character.
Yeah.
I think that's a big problem.
I hate Echo. Every time I play against Echo in my mid lane laning phase, I get beaten up. So I don't want to support Echo players, and then they just close the shop down. Like that's like it's irrational, but it makes sense. But the reasoning isn't wrong either, because why should you have to buy the Echo skin if you don't want it? But I do want the Aerie skin.
Yeah, they're just missing out on money.
Yeah, it's silly. It's silly. It must be something to do with like, I don't want to just be obviously bad moving. So I'm prefacing this with like, this is speculation, but like, is it some kind of like tax issue purpose, so that they have to like have a minimum amount so that it makes it the maximum amount of value towards going to funding tournaments and keeping money at the same time, if that makes sense?
Yeah, maybe it's a split.
Like, yeah, maybe it's an issue with like the profit split, like profit margin split, so they have to basically sell you an entire bundle to make it worth them making and selling it. Who knows?
Yeah, they're not gonna give us the details on that.
Yeah, of course they won't.
All right, last thing I want to mention, this video's getting kind of long, is special moves. What I mean by special moves is inputs, motion inputs, and non-motion inputs. I know a big part of this game is to have not motion inputs so people can easily get into it. They can press a button and get a special move to come out. But as a fighting game person, I get used to it and it's not that big of a deal for me. But I know a lot of people, and I've seen it online, complain that this game doesn't have special inputs. Even someone I play fighting games a lot with, my friend Dova, I've been playing Street Fighter with him for years. He hesitates to get on this game and doesn't like playing it that much because there's no motion inputs. Because everything is just tied to 2 buttons that lead to special moves. That is a big issue to him, and I know it's a problem for you that makes you not want to get into this game that much because there's no motion inputs.
It's a really big issue for me, right? I think some of the big selling points for the game, right? Because we have to go to really the reason why they made this and the reason they made the choices that they did, right? Is that they wanted to target like more casual players for like the fighting game genre. Like if this game was marketed towards league players only have 4 buttons, right? Like you have your mouse and your 4 buttons. So it would obviously try to make it a little less complicated for those people. The problem is, as someone like me, that like I've got a couple 100 hours in fighting games, right? Like I wouldn't say it's like a ridiculous amount, but like I'm an old guy, right? Like I could have picked up like 4 different fighting games and just played them for a couple of hours on a weekend every now and again, and I'd have hit a couple 100 hours, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been around long enough. I think that fighting games have like the charm to them of motion inputs are actually really significant to the value of fighting games, because it feels good, right? It feels good for you to have sat in labs, right? You've done like 5 hours of practice on this day. You get into a ranked competitive match and you just like body someone with a combo that you practice for a couple of hours, and it feels really good. So to like remove that feeling of like learning an agency, to like dumb it down a little, just doesn't feel good to me. And I think that because I tried this game out, right? And I kind of couldn't get over it. I couldn't really get over the feeling of how it just didn't feel right. Yeah, it just didn't feel good compared to like other fighting games that I'd played. And I get that newer players to fighting games would really appreciate it, and I think that it should exist, right? Like a form of the simplified inputs should exist, but like at the same time, can I have an option where the game gets a bit more complicated, so I, have a reason to be interested in labbing the game, right? I love labbing in fighting games.
Yeah, it's a big part of fighting games, is labbing.
Yeah, and realistically, you can load into the practice tool here, like look up a combo guide, and you've done it in a couple minutes, right? Like you know what the combo is. It's not exactly hard to execute the combo. There's no real inputs, and it is cool that you managed to get it down, but you've got it down already, and there's no risk to failure when the game is simplified to a certain degree. And I think that that's important for fighting games to me.
Yeah, I think they should at least have an option. I know a lot of people won't see this as a big deal. Like, people are probably like, yeah, it's simple inputs, it lets more people get into it. But if it's an option, at least those people start off with simple inputs and they say, I want to make this like more difficult. I want to play like most of the people at higher level, they play with maybe they play with motion inputs. So they're like, oh, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
At least in Street Fighter, you get the option of playing modern controls, which simplifies the game. And then you can switch to classic when like you feel that you're up to par, that you want to go to classic.
Yeah, you wanna like learn how to really play fighting games. You take the training wheels off, right? But because there's no option to take the training wheels off, that is currently what 2XKO is, right? Like, it's a cool game. It has a lot of really unique things. It's got a lot of stuff going for it. But for fighting game pair, it is a relatively training wheels game with no option to take them off. But what doesn't make sense to me there is if the goal was to target the League player audience by making the game simple, why is it a tag fighter?
Yeah, that's an argument that people make, is like a lot more people would have played if it wasn't a tag fighter.
Yes. I think that is the biggest turn down, in my opinion, for like I could see me playing this game even with the simplified inputs if the game was not a tag fighter. I think because it's a tag fighter as a League player primarily, there's no real world where I would pick this game up because I just don't want to play a tag fighter. And I think the game might benefit really well by implementing a mode of the game where it isn't a tag fighter. And I can't even really see it being that hard because they, like you, I think I seem to remember you saying before, there's like a system in it where you can essentially just make yourself a solo character.
Yeah, is right here. It's called Juggernaut.
Yeah, the fuses. Yeah, like.
And I'm only Ari. I can't do anything else.
Yeah, imagine they just put out a mode where like you are forced to play in Juggernaut. That would make the game way more appealing to me. I think that that's a really easy fix that they could probably do that would make a lot of people happy and willing to try the game.
And to their credit, they have it as an option, but because there's 2v2, it's going to be better to have like a person on your team that can help versus you. They try to even it out, like make it balanced by when you're on Juggernaut, you have more health and you do more damage.
Yeah, but you have the problem in this game that you would have in any fighting game. More health doesn't really equate to being better when you have way more options by not being Juggernaut, right?
Exactly. Like Juggernaut has its problems because not having an assist. This game is big on once you start playing at a higher level. It's big on mixing people up with your assist and tricking them to figure out what side you're on, and you lose out on a lot of like mix-up options and a lot of like tricking people without an assist. You're like basically handicapped even though you have more damage and more health.
Yeah. Because options, funnily enough, are a massive part of fighting games. Your opponent doesn't really have to care if you're playing rock paper scissors, but you decided my rock and scissors are really big, but I don't have any paper.
Yeah, so people usually stay away from Juggernaut, but it's an option to get people in. But I think when they started making this game, it probably would have did better overall for like most people if it was a 1v1, how it initially was.
I don't see a reason not to have a 1v1 format. Like, have a 1v1 format, you have your, like, PvP format. Like, you can play with another person as your tag partner, right?
Yeah, that's a big thing, is the 2v2 aspect, is like, no other fighting game has done this in a long time. Is we can play together. I can literally call you in and you start fighting and do your own thing.
Yeah, I think that's they like leaning into that more. Like I think the best thing that 2XKO can do for its longevity, from a League player's perspective, is give people variety of game to play. I don't see why you can't just have essentially a Juggernaut mode. You have a single player 2v2 mode, and then also the actual me and a friend can play as a 2v2. Like, those formats would be really cool to have, like just as a thing. Because you then get the option where you are actually just playing as a solo character if you were playing 2v2, and that really, like, that's a nice draw. Like, that feels good to me. I don't want to be the other character. I want to, if I'm like tagging in my friend, I'm not playing the character. And that's you playing two 1v1s in the same fight, like in the same game, and that feels so much better to me as an idea, and it's actually really cool. And I think that leaning into that more would be really good. But also just add a Juggernaut mode, because not everybody has like somebody that's willing to jump in and play a game with them at any time in a day, especially like some sweaty nerds in my time zone, right? I sometimes I'll be up at 4 a.m. Good luck me finding some guy to join me at 4 a.m. Especially like in the fighting game community. Like, I barely know like a couple people, right, that play fighting games. I know you. Like, I've got one close local friend to me that like would probably pick up this game and play it with me at the same time. But like, that is not like, there's no world where that's consistent enough for me as a person to be able to actually get someone to play with, to have the game be in a state that I would like to play it in, which is playing as the character that I picked, and then not just some other character that I had to put on my team. Does that make sense? Yeah,
I'm sure the argument against that would just be like, oh, we'll just go play Sidekick or Juggernaut if you want to just only have you. But then once again, it becomes most people are playing 2v2.
I also don't want my opponent to have the 2v2. Like, I don't want my opponent to be the 2v1, right? Like, that's the real downside. Like, I know that I'm strictly making my chances of winning worse by playing like this.
Exactly. Like, they try to balance it, but there's only so much you can do with that.
Yeah. Because options are king in fighting games. They really are.
But yeah, I think we're going to end it there. We've been talking a lot. It's been almost an hour. Just funny. Time is flying.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is just the opinions on how I think they can make the game better. Like the things we touched on. The name, the monetization, motion inputs. I know they don't seem that big of a deal, but a lot of people do like motion inputs, and they're used to fighting games having them. And then the option of maybe this should have been a 1v1. It's fun as a 2v2, especially with friends, but I think for people that don't have a friend, or like you said, just let them play 1v1s as an option. Like in the lobby, there should be an option. You can just go search for 1v1s.
Yeah, I could tell you right now, from my perspective, if this game had a 1v1 mode and motion inputs, I would play this game. I could tell you right now, I would pick this game up, because I love the right IP, and I'd love to see my characters in the game. With time, they might add some of them. I can't really fault them for not having all 170 characters in League into the game. But I'd like to have a couple more. I'd love to have a 1v1 format, and I'd love to have motion inputs, and that I would play the game. I would.
See, and that's 100%. Coming from someone who plays League religiously. So if Ryan, you're listening to this was all constructive criticism. I actually really enjoy this game. It's really fun for me, but I'm someone who plays all type of fighting games, and I like variety, and but I can just see where some things on this game could hit for like the casual audience and for people that aren't getting into it. But I'm gonna leave Procy's Twitch in the description below if you guys want to check him out. And other than that, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Peace.